And I want to encourage every parent out there, if you're sitting there and you're dealing in that apprehension state right now, and you're kind of allowing the unknowns to hold you back, I will just suggest you just go for it. Just go for it.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Hi.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this beautiful rainy morning?
It is very rainy here, although you said you kind of enjoy it. You're kind of enjoying the...
I haven't felt like we've seen rain for like 5 months.
Well, we haven't.
Yeah. So it is kind of nice. Seasons are starting to change, starting to feel a little bit like fall.
I know you have your first football game coming up.
I know, this Friday. And
high school football game.
Girls are in full speed with golf now. We have, what else? Drews and Ellie are in cross country and lots of fun stuff. Our calendar is packed for the next couple months,
It's actually just packed for the next, 50 years. But, like we always think.
I should say a little more packed than typical.
Well, and then we'll say, oh gosh, easy. And then we have 3 kids back in basketball after that. And, so I don't know. So
here we are, we're just starting a school year in sports for us and everything else. And I know the one thing we were talking about last night when you and I were just decompressing a little bit was just how much there is pressure and stress on our kids between school, between peers, between sports, between responsibilities, between mindsets that are kind of filtered in around them, things like, oh, you should be doing this or this because it's the best time of your life. High school is supposed to be the time just to go crazy and be wildly irresponsible because, it's all downhill from there. And it's so interesting, you and I were talking about this, how our kids are hearing this from other kids, which means they're learning it from their parents, that kind of a mindset, probably because that was sort of their story. And, we have a whole different philosophy, right?
We do.
Yeah.
So like it was just so funny. So first thing was, it was neat that you and I had a chance last night to kind of prepare for podcasting today because the idea of what you just said came about because Chrissy and I had ran some errands together and I was getting some quality time with her. And she had literally just brought up like, hey, Mom, like it's crazy, like we just started school and I'm so thankful that we don't literally go to school physically because we homeschool our kids. And I'm so thankful we do sports only because I am hearing all kinds of things. And just what you mentioned came up in our conversation. And I thought to myself, I'm like, gosh, it's so funny because, when you and I were growing up, I mean, at least where I live, homeschool was not a thing. That wasn't even an option.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it, actually.
Yeah.
And so...
Boy, has it grown. And is it growing?
Yes, it is.
I mean, it used to be maybe 100,000 kids in the U.S., whatever. I don't know the stats, but I remember seeing something that it was just like a decade ago, something like that. And now it's 5 million,
and growing.
And growing and doubling and tripling every single year, which I love seeing, by the way.
I love seeing. And for, and everyone has their own thing that works for school. For us personally, some of the reasons why we actually chose to do homeschool was because, and I'm not sure when we explained this, maybe however many episodes ago, but our oldest were in like going into fourth grade. So they were in third grade at the time. And then
we had them in a private Montessori school.
We had them in a private Montessori school. So the twins were in third grade. Chrissy was in second grade. Drews was in like kindergarten. And that was about it. And honestly, it kind of started in the just in the fashion where at first, when we sent the kids to school, the little Montessori we first attended was really flexible with us. They were really great. It was just a sweet little place in Illinois, and they all kind of went half days, had a blast. The teachers were flexible when we wanted to take them out to do anything.
Yeah.
They were on board with our philosophy that, families first.
Right.
You guys are there just to help us. And then we moved to Wisconsin and we joined a different Montessori. And that Montessori had a little more stricter ways of doing things. And they didn't really want to accommodate family dynamics.
Just to say it as real as we can, they were much more of a business.
Correct.
Than they were of us supporting you in your child's education journey. And they were not shy about that.
No.
Right?
So as we were attending it for a little bit, at the time, not feeling confident in ourselves about homeschooling, we had never done it ourselves. We knew people that did it, but it just didn't really add up for us yet. What happened was the kids were in third grade, the twins, and they were trying to do different activities. I think it was gymnastics and dance at the time. And as we would pick them up from school, they were so exhausted, not only from being at school all day, but the capacity that they were taking on of family or friend dynamics. Okay. And then they wanted to do something fun like a sport, right? So then we'd pick them up at 3. They'd have to be at a sport at 4. They wouldn't get home till 5:30. Dinner wouldn't be till 6:30. Showered up. They had to be back in bed by 8:30 because they had to get up at 6:30 to make it to school by 7:45.
Right.
And so as the year was going, we were watching our kids light and shine and happiness drift.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, we were literally watching them not have fun anymore.
Yeah.
Weekends were stressful because they didn't want to go back on Mondays.
Yeah.
It's not like anybody was being mean to them. That was not the case. But friend groups were getting more and more like, you're invited to this and you're not invited to this. I like you. I don't like you.
Almost trying to pick one sibling over the other, and then our kids are dealing with why would they get picked in that friend group and not us. And it was just a lot of what I would say, to me, I would expect to be not a third grade thing happening. It would be a high school thing happening. But This is what was happening. And it was stressing. And we realized that, when they come home, we're working so hard to try to undo some of this environmental stuff that was going on, regardless of whatever was going on from the school's perspective. But this is just other people, and they are not equipped to handle this, especially for 8 hours a day.
Right.
And then we get to be an influence in their life for a couple of hours. And we're just like, this isn't what we want. This, it's too, no matter how good we are at being intentional, we're getting beat just by sheer amount of time that they're being influenced by other people.
And it was becoming so heavy that our sweet girls at that time, because Drews was still just in kindergarten, playing around and not paying attention to a lot of stuff. And he's a boy, which is a lot different than girls.
Right.
The girls were just, nothing was making them happy to go. And then they were stressing about schoolwork while they were there and the teacher dynamics. And before we knew it, we're arguing to take a day off for them just because we want more family time.
Yeah.
And so it just became a lot for us. And honestly, I got to give credit to you because at that point, you came to me and was like, I think it's time that we should homeschool.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at you, and maybe other wives and moms can be looking at their husband. And when Greg said it's time for us to homeschool, he really means it's time for you to homeschool them, Jackie. It's true.
Well, I guess.
Yes.
I didn't really. I kind of just meant it's just time to. If I could say it better, probably looking back, it's time that we just don't send our kids to school anymore.
Yes.
Now I don't know what the solution is.
Right.
Right. But
that's what I heard, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't feel equipped at the time. Maybe there's other people out there. I did not feel equipped. I totally wanted to get my kids out of that environment. That was not the thing. I just did not feel equipped. Here I'm running businesses with you. I have a couple little ones at home still. I need time to be a mom and a wife and a friend and all the things. And I just remember kind of sitting down with you and being like, if you really think this is a thing, then, for our dynamic and our family, we probably should find some tutors to help us. Can you help me do that? If you help me do that, then I will organize it. But I don't even know where to start. So kudos to you. And I just take it as again, leading our family so well as you were like, okay, if I really find some good people to interview that could possibly tutor our family, will you be up to talking to them and seeing if this is a dynamic that we could do? And I remember telling you, because it was at the end of the school year as we were talking, I said, okay, but if we don't figure it out by August, I do not feel equipped. So I'm going to send them back for a year because I do not feel equipped to do this. And you're like, deal, let's figure this out. So you did. You went and you interviewed and you figured it out and you found a fabulous tutor for us who we still love and enjoy today from even a distance. But that's what you did because you're like, no, we will figure this out. And it's not that I wasn't trying myself. I was still staying focused on the emotional support our kids needed at the time. Yeah. I was still dealing with the everyday work that they needed from a mom, all those kind of things.
Sure.
And so we did, and we pulled our kids. And I will tell you some of the benefits have just been so rewarding for our kids.
Yeah, and just to stop you, I will say, I think that this is it's a big thing to talk about. That season for us, and that the apprehension is a real thing.
Yes.
You don't know what you're getting into.
No.
And so it creates fear. It's like, okay, so we're going to interview, but do we even know what they need to do? All of us parents, there's not a parent I've ever met that doesn't sit there and worry that we're going to do something wrong and screw our kids up somehow, and I think all that was going on. Mm-hmm. So it was a pretty emotional season. It's big decisions,
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's why I think it probably took us until then to really get to the point where this is crazy. I kind of remember, I remember for me, there was a lot of frustration that was building over time. There was a lot of seeing things happen. You and I had a lot of conversations around this, and at one point, I just remember our sweet Abby girl, who's just like, she is the one with the biggest smile.
Yes.
And she is the one who is chasing butterflies in the yard and is twirling in her dress up in the living room all day, every day, right? And I'm watching her like literally falling asleep on the way home. Can't even have like a conversation with her because none of the conversation stuff was very happy. And that's not like her.
No.
And then when she would get home, you could tell she's so young, she don't even know how to process this stress.
Right.
And I just remember like it was breaking my heart. Like this was the the tipping point for me. And I knew it was happening to other kids too, but I really could see it on her, and so it's like we just got to find a way. And
Correct.
So let's work together and let's find a way. And I want to encourage every parent out there, if you're sitting there and you're dealing in that apprehension state right now, and you're kind of allowing the unknowns to hold you back, I will just suggest you just go for it. Mm-hmm. Just go for it. Just remember this. You can always send them back to school.
Right.
Right. But just start and just take the leap. And you know what? The minute you make a decision to take the leap, I feel like you start asking yourself better questions, because otherwise until then you ask a lot of these kind of questions to yourself. What if I do this wrong? What if they don't get educated properly? Mm-hmm. What if that's whatever the stereotypes out there that are untrue? What if our kids aren't
like socialized? Yeah, we hear that a lot.
It's just the biggest lie.
Myth. It's such a myth.
Started by school systems that want to trap your kids in them. Mm-hmm. It's a lie. Meet our kids.
Yes. Or what if they don't have friends? Or what if they don't get to play sports? Or what if if they don't get to be part of bands and the arts, or like whatever it may be? And it's just a fear factor. I mean, it's a tactic to get you to not do it.
But if you don't know it,
it's true.
Like you hear this stuff, and then they post pictures of some weird kid out on a farm somewhere,
right,
with a clothes they made themselves, and they picture that like that's a homeschooler.
Kid.
It's like that's not true. We travel the world, man.
Yes.
We have kids that run businesses at 14 years
yes.
old. Our kids are happy. They're social. They have more friends than they know what to do with.
They have a better social life than us.
They play every sport. I mean, they're on varsity as freshmen.
Like it's so true.
They have
people skills developed.
They get all the positives that we want without having to deal with all the negatives.
And so yesterday, this all came to like a head a little bit. As our now sophomore and I were driving home from having some quality time together and running a few errands and seeing kids playing outside at recess by the local little middle school up the road. And her exact words were, "Mom, I'm so thankful we don't go to those kind of schools and we homeschool." Mm-hmm. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, wow, so powerful. And I said to her, "How come?" That was my question. How come? And she said, "Well, Mom, I just love that we don't have the pressure of school and then social atmosphere, and then sports, and then like the emotional. and then just the, physical of all that goes with it. We get all the best without worrying about the stresses. Wow. She goes, I love it that I show
And this is our daughter that just turned 15.
I know.
Like just turned 15.
Like, a couple days ago.
She still feels like a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And she has been injected into a lot in the last 2 years because of getting into high school sports and the high school atmosphere and scenarios. So to me, her words carry a lot of weight,
completely.
Because she's at a state like most kids at age who she could be super influenced in a direction that we don't want her to go, and ultimately long-term, she don't want to go. I mean, how many times do you and I have conversations about when we were 14 or 15 and the kind of things that we were doing? And you know what? Nobody sat us down and said, you should go do these wrong things. But they just allowed us to get in an atmosphere where we were surrounded by it. So you try to fit in. Right?
And that's what we were talking about. Just an example. She said, one of the girls on the golf team who's a freshman was just going on and on about how she doesn't know who to trust right now because her best friend of however many years started dating the crush that she's had for however many years. Mm-hmm. And she goes, Mom, what does that mean? How do you just take the person that your friend likes? Mm-hmm. And I go, yeah, that's a real hard thing. Well,
that's a great prelude to our next episode.
I knew you were going to cut me off.
You must tune in to hear all about this story. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.